Okay, so this video is about entering your items into the computer system. So whenever you come, you want to get to the website and you would like to go to where it says here on the side, there says ready to work your inventory. You can click here and that's a fast link, or you can go underneath the register now and you can scroll down and you can do the ready to work your inventory here. So again, there's a quick link over here though on the side. So once you click that, you'll be brought into here where you have to put in your cosigner number and your password. And this is the screen that you guys get. There's active inventory, inactive inventory, where you print your tags, inventory report, all that stuff. So you want to start with your active inventory. Pick what version you're using. And this is where you start. So I already added a couple things in here, but so if you have, for example, these are the categories that we have that can go onto this sale. If you have, if you're doing clothes, make sure that you pick either boys or girls. The girls go from newborn to juniors and the boys go from newborn to young men's. And then you also have boys coats, girls coats, which include newborn to juniors and newborn to young men. And then you have all these other things along with maternity, all that stuff. And then you have the shoes, the boys' shoes and the girls' shoes, dance shoes, sporting, dance and sport shoes together. So, for example, if you wanted to do a boy's shirt, you go to the clothing boys, and if you have the size, so you need to make sure that your category matches up with what the size is. For example, your category is clothing, so you want to make sure that you pick the correct size for that clothing. Costumes go with the category of costumes. Over here you have costumes, you have maternity, juniors, all that stuff like that. So maternity goes with the category maternity. Costumes go with the category costumes. The junior teen girls would go with clothing girls. Shoes go with shoes. Make sure that you guys match up the category with the size and make sure that they're both the same. Don't be putting clothing boys and then put costume size 6'8". That would be incorrect. So if you have clothing boys and pretend that it is a boys youth size 6 shirt, you want to make sure that in the description you put exactly as much information as you can, so in case your tag gets lost from that clothing item, that we can look it up in our system. It's very hard if you guys put red shirt and nothing else for the description, because there's thousands of red shirts probably in the sale, so it's very hard to match up the shirt with the correct shirt if you don't put exactly. So you need to put, if it is depending on what kind of store you bought it from. If it is Old Navy, you can put Old Navy and pretend it's a red and blue striped shirt. So you can put Old Navy and you can put like red and blue shirt, or you can put like button up, short sleeve shirt. You can do it over here, short sleeve. Do as much description as you can. The descriptions and stuff, usually the sellers don't even look at those, honestly, but it's for us, in case your tag gets lost from your clothing item, it helps us to find that and reunite them back together, because if not, then your item cannot sell. Make sure your price, you put whatever you think that would be what you would probably pay for that shirt. Some people have sentimental values to their clothing, and they have sentimental values to their clothing. You can tell that by them pricing stuff higher. But I honestly go off of like how much I would pay for that. Like pretend I paid $10 originally for the shirt, and my son's worn it a bunch and stuff like that. I usually just like to get rid of the clothes, and they go to a good cause anyways. The 30% goes to proceeds go to charity. So some of the time, depending on how nice the shirt is, if it's a dress shirt, if it's just a play shirt, or how worn it's used, you want to make sure. So I'm going to put this one here for $3 and quantity 1, and then you hit submit item. So, and you can see the items down here are submitted. Now, pretend I wanted to discount that item, which discounting means that on Saturday, the item would be half price. So if I want to discount the item and I didn't already do so, I can go to edit. And same with if you need to edit the category, the size, the description, anything like that, you can do it underneath the edit button. And I want it discounted. And then I click submit and it will say that it's updated. And if I look here, it has a discount tag over on the discount. This is the donate one. And this is if it says that your tag's printed or not. And that's in a future video about printing the tags. So you see here, and pretend you didn't want that or you wanted to change the price, you can just go into edit and you can change the price. I'm actually going to put this for $2.50 and I'm going to submit that. And it will be updated on here. This will only show down here the last 5 items that you have entered. If you'd like to see all the items that you have entered, you can click this button right here and it'll show you all the items that you've entered. I only have 3 in there, so it's not showing much. So for example, if you're going to do, maternity clothes, you need to click maternity, and the size, you wouldn't click any of this being the size 16, 18, 20. You want to make sure that you go down to maternity. You have maternity extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL. Pretend it's like a 2, like an XX small or bigger than like a 3XL or something. I would just put it, if it's a 3XL, I put it under the double XL, and in the description, I would make sure that I put 3XL. Or if it's an extra, extra small, I would put it underneath the extra small and make sure in the description I put extra, extra small. So that's that. For shoes, you either pick boy or girl shoes. If I pick boy shoes, you want to make sure that you scroll down and go to the shoes. And make sure that you put the shoes underneath the correct size. Children's shoes, like youth size shoes, stop at size 6.5. So once you get past 6.5, it's technically adult size 7 shoe. That's what it is. And then there's also infant shoes, and it shows approximately for the months that they should be. So that's
you need
that.
To remember that there's a difference between like a toddler size 6, obviously, and a youth size 6. So make sure you pick the correct category for that.
Correct. So, and also going back to clothes, so if you had a female here, right here, or even male, whatever, clothes, I'm sorry, if you have, like, for example, Nike and Under Armour, their stuff is like, it has like a Y and then it says S, so for youth small or youth extra small. So just a quick thing. We kind of talked about it, and like a youth extra small would be like a size like 4-5. A youth small would be about a 6-8. A youth medium would be about an 8-10. A youth large would be about a 10-12, and a youth extra large would be probably about a 14-16. So you want to make sure that on here, if you're doing it, pretend it's a youth large. So let's say we're looking for like a 10-12. You want to make sure, I would probably put it in the lower size so then they can always grow into it. You would hate to put it in the higher size and they wouldn't be able to grow into it. So whatever the first number is, like if it's even if the shirt says, sometimes Old Navy says 4-5 or whatever it says on it, I would put it in the lower. So if it's a 10-12, I would put it in the youth 10. That's what I would put in. If it's, 4-5, I would probably put it in the toddler 4T. I would just keep it in the smaller one so that, they have longer time to wear it. Also, with the clothing, the young men, make sure that it is for, like, it's teenage boys, and the juniors, for the girls, make sure it's juniors. Please do not put in your guys's, or, cleaning out your closet or, your, like, adult clothes. This is a kids' clothing sale. We don't want, your club and clothes there that, a teen girl would not wear. Make sure that this is all kids' clothing, whether it be teenage or young men, meaning, kids that are in high school and stuff like that. Make sure they are kids' clothes and not adult clothes that you guys are bringing in. Also on here, for things like baby carriers, baby swings, bikes, book bags, books, all that stuff like that, if it does not have a size, you need to make sure that here at the very top it says leave blank. Click that. It will not print out on the tag as leave, like the words leave blank. It'll literally just be blank. So for books, for anything that does not have a size, the only thing that should have a size is clothing, items of clothing that you can wear, or shoes. Nothing else should have a size. Nothing at all else should have a size. Clothing and shoes are the only things that should have a size. If it can be worn on your body, like a costume, clothing, whatever, then it should have a size. If not, you leave that blank. So, if you have a baby carrier, that's leave blank. All that's leave blank. You don't need to put for like the receiving blankets or anything like baby 0 to 3. We want to leave that all blank. People know that it's a receiving blanket. It is for an infant. You don't need to put a size there. That's not appropriate. And just like I said, make sure that the descriptions are very descriptive so that if something gets lost, that we can match it back to your article so that it can sell. Because if we can't match it, it will not be able to sell. Also, if you go to the return inventory page, if you have stuff from previous sales, like this stuff is from a previous sale that I had, if you would like to activate that, like that would be keeping the same tag on it that's already on it. You don't want to change the price or anything like that. You can just click on that item that you want. You can click on here. You can activate all items that you have, but just make sure that it says that what sale it's associated with. Make sure that that item is appropriate for that sale. Some of the stuff like for toy sales and stuff, those are in here as well. Make sure that that item is appropriate for this sale. This is going to be your fall and winter sale. Now, I know the sale is in August, so short sleeve shirts and stuff like that are okay because we are still usually wearing short sleeve shirts in August. And stuff like that, jackets and all that stuff like that works. Just make sure that it is appropriate for the sale. And if you click on whatever ones you want and you click activate those selected items, they will come over then into your inventory. So it'll say that it has been promoted to my inventory. And if I return to the inventory page and go to the active inventory, I can see those ones that I just activated for this sale. So, and you see for the book bags, it has leave blank. You want to make sure that that's how you want them. Also, in here, they have inventory reports, sold items, all that stuff that you guys can look at. Also, another thing is, for the inventory, it all has to be entered into the system. If you come up here to the cosigners, it'll say preparing items. You can have up to 200 items in the system. If you need additional if you have more than 200 items, you need to email Little Lamb's Closet, the admin at Little Lamb's Closet, and you need to email them and ask for additional space for more items. It is $5 per 200 items. So if you have 200 items, you pay, the fee. If you want 200 more, it's $5. And you can have up to 600. You'll have to pay $5 for every 200 after the first 200. And you can have up to 600 items if you ask Little Lambs, the admins, to add more to your cosigner number. So in here, this is just, at the very top, like preparing your items. It talks about having your items clean, everything that we've went through in previous videos. Over here is about like lesser brands, good brands, about how much you would price stuff. Just like I say on a good note, just make sure you would pay that much for that item. That's how I look at it. I know some things that, I remember my son wearing them and everything like that, and I'm really attached to them, but how much would I pay for that shirt? That's mostly how I figure out what I'm going to price it at. So these are just tagging information like we talked on other videos, everything like that. Also up here is like our items accepted. So you want to make sure that you look at the items accepted. You want to make sure that down here, the items accepted for the March and August sale, here is the full list of items accepted. So you want to make sure that you look here. And if it is not on this list, then we do not accept it for this sale. So make sure that it's on this list. Also, a thing that we just added that we talked about is for bikes and stuff to be accepted into every sale. You can have a combination of up to 25 of books or DVDs. So between the two of them, if you have 10 books, 15 DVDs, that's fine. We just don't want people bringing in 50 books. We don't have enough room for all that. So you want to make sure between the two of these, you have a combination of no more than 25 between books and DVDs. It's for every 200 items that you have, it's very hard to put all that stuff on the bookshelves for people to buy if, people bring in, 50 books a piece. It's very hard. Also, up here, there's more training videos for us. And it talks about our sale info and everything across the top. So we want to make sure, most importantly, that whenever you guys go and are ready to start entering your inventory, make sure that the category and the size and the description and everything is correct. On another note, whenever I'm entering inventory, I usually start with all my clothes. I always have them all laid out and everything. And I usually start with, the boys' clothes and have them out by size, so it's easier to do. If you go and enter stuff into the computer and if you're entering, boys' clothes or whatever, and you're entering a whole bunch of 3T stuff, you can keep entering it. These category and size will not change until you change them. So it's very easy if you just have a stack of 3T clothes and you just, you don't have to worry about changing the category and size, rather than having a 4T shirt, a 3T shirt, a 5T shirt, and then shoes. Then you have to change the category and size every single time.
So correct. So we discussed before in the other video about sorting the clothes, it is a good idea to have them all sorted so that when you go in to put them in the system, it's so much easier. So much easier on yourself. And it saves you a lot of time. And then it's easier to even tag them once you tag them. It just makes everything a whole lot easier if you organize everything first.
And by size and by,
And by sex and things like that.
Yeah, if it's male or female, And also it makes hanging your items whenever you get there to hang them up whenever at check-in. It makes it a lot easier if all the sizes are, together. So then you can just go and hang them on that part of the rack. It's very hard if you're going through your bins and it takes a lot more time to hang up your items. So, like I said, if you have any questions about anything, make sure you check out, these things up here at the top. A lot of these things, they can answer your questions for you. If you still cannot find the answer, then you feel free to please email us if any other questions that you can't find the answer for. And I think that's about it. Thanks.